Hello there, I'm Lyndsey Johnston. I'm the SNP candidate for the Black Isle in the upcoming council elections this Thursday. Following on from the hustings, which took place in Fortrose and were very kindly organised by Auchinleck Community Council, there was some supplementary questions. So I'm recording this video to answer them as best I can. I'm going to put a link to the questions um, in the bit below this video, but what I'm planning to do is just crack on and answer them as best I can. So question 1 and question 2 were both about the school estate in both Avoch Primary and Fortrose Academy. So I'm going to plan to take these first two questions together. Young people need to have a safe, warm and inviting environment to be able to learn in. To make the most of their education. I've got two children, both in Fortrose Academy, and I know from them that the school is in a poor state of repair. Like most parents, I haven't actually spent much time in the school myself, as they both started during COVID times. I hear that some windows are rotten, that there's leaks, and that the classroom furniture itself is tired and old. I'm aware that there is a drastic need to review education provision for both Och and Fortrose. Currently, there is no new school building plan for Och on Highland Council's capital plan, but if I was elected, it would be a priority of mine to look at new school estate for both Och and Fortrose. And if elected, I would work with Scottish Government to seek to increase the capital budget for the school provision in the Black Isle. The next question was related to what use is a political party to local politics. And at present, Highland Council's administration is run by independents. Being part of the SNP means that we are the only party to currently have a full manifesto and a 5-year plan for running Highland Council. We have a strong vision and we have the advantage of all singing from the same hymn sheet when it comes to getting decisions made and votes through. The next question 4, related to do I live in the ward? And yes, I do live in the ward. I live on the north side of the Black Isle, near Milwaukee, and my family have constantly been in the Black Isle since at least 1740, and that's just from when records go back to. The next question 5, relates to the Inner Moray Firth local development plan and the number of seasonal visitors and facilities for them. I strongly believe that resources for local people and for tourists alike do need to be better met. There's various ways to do this, and all need to be properly looked at and spoken about as a community. Whether it be looking at introducing an overnight visitor levy like they do in continental Europe, or providing better rest stops and airs for people who are travelling by motorhome or camping. Due to its sheer size, Highland Council has the largest road network and amount of unclassified roads of any council, and it has a tiny number of road staff to cover the wards of Black Isle and Dingwall Seaforth, and I believe it's under 10. So you can see that the increased number of visitor traffic is going to have a disproportionate effect on the quality of our roads and how long they last. But yes, I do believe that we need to have good facilities both for local people and for tourists alike. Question 6 was in relation to the A9 Milwaukee Junction and its safety and what would I do in terms of looking at the state of Milwaukee Junction. So obviously Milwaukee Junction is on the A9. It's under the responsibility of Bear Scotland. And I am no expert in road design. However, the other people are experts. And as somebody who's actually had a car accident at the A9 in my younger days on the Milwaukee Junction. Sorry about that. Real life got in the way. My telephone in the house rang while I'm trying to make a video. As I was saying, as somebody who's been in a car accident on the Milwaukee Junction in my younger days, I know how frightening it can be. I would continue to work with Kate Forbes in the same vein as Craig Fraser has over the last few years to look at good quality safe solutions for that junction. The next question, question 7, was young people are not sufficiently represented on community councils. How would I promote and support change in this? I would encourage youth members to either stand on the community council or there be a special space created for them if that's not possible, so as that all community councils have the option, and if somebody's available, to be a youth member to sit on them. I think the views of all ages in our community are important. I would also encourage community councils to have visits, representations, and invited guests who are youth workers in the local community. As a local youth leader with the Beaver Scouts, I'm not sure if I've ever been invited to speak at a community council on that basis about what I do within youth work. So I think that might be a good way to bridge the intergenerational gap in our communities. The next question, question 8, is about if elected, and it was about planning and how would you support the views of the community rather than the planning application. So, and then the next one was about developers for question 9. So I was going to take those two questions together. And I think it's important that we be serious about the Black Isle and the fact that we do need to have more housing, but it needs to be done in a sustainable way. That we don't just houses, that we don't just build houses, that we reinforce our communities and all the things that go into a community, whether it be the schooling, the doctors, the facilities, the shops. There's no point putting up houses where people have no resources or access to things. But as a mum, I worry about my children being able to live and work on the Black Isle when they get older because of the lack of affordable, warm, good quality housing that people can move into. Okay, question 10 was everyone wants an improvement in services. Tax rises are unpopular. How could the council raise revenue? So one of the ways the council could look at to generate new income for our communities, whether that be looking at better investments with the Highland Council's reserves, or it could be, as set out in the SNP manifesto, looking at hydrogen energy production as a way to decarbonise our community and transport, while also providing a great source of income for the council. And again, the next question was about the climate change, that Scotland is committed to net zero emissions of all greenhouse gases by 2045. As a councillor, what would we do to help meet this? And the SNP in its manifesto has committed to a timeframe of 2025 to have a pathway for reducing emissions, including changing all street lighting in Highland Council to LED, more emphasis on insulating homes and reducing energy consumption. And we would work with community land partners to ensure the restoration of the flow country, as this World Heritage Site has a huge importance for carbon capture. And as set in the previous answer, we would look at hydrogen energy production as a way to decarbonise energy. Question 12. Oh, we're getting there. How would you vote in the asset transfer of Mill Cottage in Rosemarkie to Grome House Museum for offices and storage? Okay, so I realise that Highland Council made this decision on the basis of the poor state and state of repair of Mill Cottage. They felt that to get the property up to market value, it would cost nearly the price of market value to do that, because the property has damp, dangerous wiring, and a host of other problems. I do, however, understand the community being upset at another home not being available for local people to live in. I realise this decision has already been made. However, if I had the chance to vote again, I would have opted for Mill Cottage to have gone on the open market in its current state of repair, and then only if it was not available to be sold or able to be sold would it then be looking at an asset transfer. But in my opinion, the sale should have gone through first, not only to generate income, but to give the option of having more housing. in the area. And question 13 is, would you support the further studies into the viability of community-owned wind turbines? Yes, I would absolutely support the viability study to take place. Absolutely not a problem. I am in favour of green ways to produce electricity. However, I do feel that wind turbines have to be very carefully situated, because we can't forget the fact that there is actually an environmental impact from wind turbines. The concrete pads that wind turbines sit on, they emit a huge amount of CO2 into the atmosphere when they're put up. The pad can't be reused for a second wind turbine once the first wind turbine has come to the end of its life. And it also has an impact on the other road structures which may need to be improved to put community-owned wind turbines on. And then there's also the environmental impact of the possibility of bird strike from some of our more rare birds like the pink-footed geese, red kites and buzzards. So yes, I would entirely support a feasibility and viability study, but I think it does need to be all-encompassing and look at all sides. I hope that's helped answer some of these additional questions. I do hope that there is people who have remembered to post their postal vote, and if they haven't, they take their ballot paper to a polling station on Thursday. And if I'm elected, I look forward to being able to serve the fantastic community that is the Black Isle. So thank you for your time and listening to this video.